Okay, today we're going to be associating fractions with division and understanding how to convert from fractions into decimals. So to be successful, you're going to need to know what the line between the numerator and the denominator stands for, use your knowledge of division, including formal written method, bus stop, and use my knowledge of ordering fractions and decimals as well. So, I'm going to look at 1/4 and I'm going to convert a quarter into a decimal. First thing I need to remember is what this line means. 1 line 4. Now those of you who remember from before Christmas, you hopefully know that that line just means divide. And as you can see, my fraction looks exactly like my divide sign, with the dots just replaced by the digits. So if I was to rewrite this out, I would be writing 1 divided by 4. I'll read it from top to bottom, 1 divided by 4. Now I don't know 1 divided by 4, I'm going to need to use my formal written method, bus stop method, in order to calculate this. So I'm going to do my bus stop. Now it's really important to know what digit goes inside and what digit goes outside, because it's really easy to get this wrong, and then you'll get the wrong answer. So I know I need to remember that my first digit always goes inside of my bus stop, leaving the second one to go outside. Because I want to think, how many 4s go into 1? Now I know that 4 doesn't go into 1. So I would put a 0 at the top. Now I need to carry that 1 somewhere, just like you would in a normal bus stop. And I'm going to carry it just the other side of the decimal point. Now, what would be the other side of that decimal point? It would be a 0. Because 1 as a decimal would be 1.0000, and they would go on forever. I need to get rid of that now because I need the space. So, now I think, how many 4s go into 10? Well, I know the 2 4s go into 10, which would be 8. Now that would leave me with 2 remainders. So I'm going to carry it across. Now I know there would be another 0 there. So I've created 20. How many 4s go into 20? It would be 5. So the answer to 1/4 as a decimal would be 0.25. Let's have a look at another one. So here, 3/4 as a decimal, that line means divide. So my calculation is going to be 3 divided by 4. So, I do my bus stop, 3 goes on the inside, the first digit is always on the inside, 4 on the outside, so how many 4s go into 3? Again, 0. 4 doesn't fit into 3. So I'm going to carry that 3 just the other side of my decimal point. And what would be the other side of the decimal point? It would be a 0. So how many 4s now go into 30? And I know that is 7. So that would leave me with 2 remainders. 4 times 7 is 28. So I know that another 0 would be here, so now I can say how many 4s go into 20. Nice and easy. 5 4s go into 20. 4 times 5 is 20. So 3/4 must equal 0.75. I'll do it again. 1/5 this time. So again, 1/5 would be the same as 1 divided by 5. I need to do my bus stop method. I'm going to put the 1 on the inside, the first digit on the inside, the second digit, the 5 on the outside, and I'm going to ask myself, how many 5s go into 1? 5 doesn't go into 1. So it's going to be a 0. So I carry that 1 the other side of my decimal point. And what would be the other side of the decimal point? It would be a 0. So 5's now into 10. That's nice and easy. Goes 2. And that's it. No more needs to be done because I've got no more remainders, because 5 times 2 is 10. So 1/5 must equal 0.2. I'll do one more, rather tricky one this time. So, 4 9s. What does 4/9 mean? It means 4 divided by 9. So, for the last time, I'm going to do my bus stop method. I'm going to do another line because that wasn't straight enough. Ooh. There we go. Okay, so the first digit, the 4, goes inside. What I'm dividing by goes on the outside, and I'm going to ask myself, how many 9s go into 4? Again, it's 0. And hopefully you've noticed a pattern, that the first time it doesn't go in, it'll always be 0. That's because a fraction is a part of one whole. One whole would be 1 digit, so a fraction would be a part of it, so it's always going to be less than 1. So now I carry my 4 the other side of the decimal point, remembering that a 0 would be the other side of the decimal point, and I'm going to ask myself how many 9s go into 40. Well, that will be 4 times, because 9 times 4 is 36. So what would be remainder there? It would be 4. And you'll notice that it's the same again. How many 9s go into 40? It will be 4, remainder 4. And now this is going to continue, well, forever. So the way I show that something continues forever is not to write 4 forever, is I'm just going to write it once, 0.4, and to show that that 4 would repeat, is I'm going to put a little dot above it. That dot is called reoccurring, so this would be 4/9 equals 0.4 reoccurring. That 4 is going to go on forever. So now what I'd like you to do is to have a look at task 1. Again, there's some more examples there on how to lay it out. Have a look at task 1. I'd like you to choose 6 of these to do. It's completely up to you. I want you to convert these fractions into decimals, showing all of your workings. So pause the video now and press play when you're ready for task 2. Okay, task 2 then. How can I order these fractions and decimals? The first thing I need to notice is that I've got a mixture of fractions and decimals, and that makes it really hard to order. I need to either make them all fractions or all decimals. Now at this stage, I haven't taught you how to turn a decimal into a fraction, so I'm going to have to turn the fractions into decimals. So I need to know what 5/6 is as a decimal, and then 7/8 is as a decimal. Once I have them as decimal numbers, I can use my knowledge of ordering numbers and decimals to then answer the question. So the first thing, 5/6. Let's turn that into a decimal. 5/6 is 5 divided by 6. So 5 divided by 6, I'm going to set out my bus stop method. Remember the 5, the first one goes on the inside, 6 on the outside. So I need to ask myself, how many 6's go into 5? Well, none. 6 doesn't go into 5. So I'm going to move my 5 the other side of the decimal place. I'm going to carry it the other side of the decimal place. And again, a 0 would be there. So how many 6's go into 50? Well, that would be 8, and I would have 2 remainder. Now how many 6's go into the 20? Would be 3, which is 18, and I would have 2 remainder again. Now I've noticed that that means the 3 would carry on. So I know that 5/6 must be 0.83 reoccurring. Remember the dot that from task 1, that's what I'm going to use it here. Now 7/8, I'm going to do it again, so it'll be 7 divided by 8. So I'm going to use my bus stop method. I've got the 7 on the inside, the 8 on the outside. I'm going to ask myself, how many 8's go into 7? That will be 0. So I'm going to carry the 7 the other side of the decimal point. Remember there would be a 0 there. So now how many 8's go into 70? Well, 8 times 8 is 64, so it must be 8. And that would give me 6 remainder. Need to add my 0. So now how many 8's go into 60? Well, that would be 7. And I know that I'm going to have 4 remainder. Now nice and easy one, how many 8's go into 40? 5. So 7/8 must be the same as 0.875. So now I have them all as decimals, I can work out which is going to be the biggest and which is going to be the smallest. So it just says order them. So it doesn't matter which way around I do, smallest to biggest or biggest to smallest, because in year 6 we are going to use our greater than and less than signs. So I'm going to go biggest to smallest. So it's really clear which is the biggest. I've got a 0.83, a 0.89, a 0.875 and a 0.9. So I know that my 0.9 is the biggest. So I'll put 0.9. Now if that's the biggest, I'm going to be using greater than sign. Next one, I've got 0.83, 0.89, 0.875. So using my knowledge of ordering, I know that if I've got 0.8 on all three numbers, then I go to the next column. So my next column has a 3, a 9 and a 7. So the 9 is going to be the biggest one. 0.89. Okay, now I've got 2 left. I've got 0.83 and 0.875. Now I know the 7 is going to be bigger than the 3. But I can't put 0.87 because that's not what it's asking me to order. It's asking me to order the fraction. So I'm going to be writing the fraction. And finally, that then leaves me with 5, 6. Now you might have noticed that I crossed them out as I'd done them. As I did them, sorry. That would be what I encourage you to do. So, task 2. You have 5 questions there. I'd like you to do at least 3 of them. There is an extension if you have time as well. So I want you to order the fraction decimals using the greater than and less than sign. Once you've done that, task 3 and 4 are some mastery tasks testing how much you've learned in this lesson. Again, answers to everything are underneath.